get this started here. I'll just add people as they come in, but welcome everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful, exciting Friday morning. And, hope you enjoyed this chapter. It was a nice short one. That was cool. It says, love to join. I'm at work, cannot fully participate. Just want to listen. All good, brother. Thank you for hopping on, Matt. So in case any of you didn't know, my brother Matt, Mark, and Brittany all have full-time jobs. And so that's part of why it's harder for them to participate, during our morning sessions. So just a heads up in case you didn't know that. But yeah, it's cool that we can record these and people can watch them whenever they'd like to watch them, So does anybody, I guess before we start, anybody have a win or something exciting that happened to them this week? I like to, sometimes I like to start with if something was inspired by the chapter that we read, or it just kind of was a coincidence that it related to what we read. Those are kind of cool stories to share. So if anybody has anything they'd like to share before we kickstart this awesome session of masterminding and brainstorming and getting our mind right. I don't think you guys believe me on that. I wasn't enthusiastic enough.
I don't have a big win, but we are COVID-free and Oliver is back at school.
Yeah. Oh, yay!
Congratulations. That's awesome. Well,
that's congrats. A win in itself.
That's a huge win. That's big, especially in today's day and age,
Yeah.
That is huge. So awesome. Congrats, Yvette. Anything anybody else would like to share?
Good week, positive.
Good positive week.
I'm trying to have the positive thoughts all the time.
Good. So. And anything in particular that you're pulling from the chapter that you would say is kind of helping you with that? Because that's it's talked about throughout this chapter, just how important it is to protect your fertile mind, right?
Right.
Any tricks that you've noticed that you're like, oh, that makes sense. That's a good idea.
I don't know if it's tricks, but I'm constantly thinking, like, my mindset, be positive. When I start to go into that negative space in my head, I'm trying to quickly turn it around. And I'm trying to use it, actually with my dad this morning. He's fighting with my brother, but he won't talk to my brother. So I'm telling him, I'm like, Dad, just talk to him. You'll feel better, get it off your chest.
Right.
So I'm trying to, preach the positiveness out of it, instead of just holding on to it. Because that's what I told him. I go, why do you want to hold on to this negative energy?
Right.
So it's helping. And it's all mindset. And it's funny because at C21, I know that's their big thing is mindset. And I never really, gave it a chance.
Right.
But with you, Brandon, I am. And it's really helped, it's true.
Well, it's because I'm better than C21.
Right. That's right, Brandon.
No, it's as your fiance would say, it's the beard is more trusting.
I would agree.
Well, thank you. No, it's a lot of it is being ready for the message, and when you're open-minded, they talk about being closed-minded and open-minded. It's ironic. Emma, it's pretty cool. I think it was last year. Emma's teacher was really big on mindset, on being positive. And she says, when you have a negative mind or a negative, look towards things, you're closed-minded. That means your brain won't let anything in. But when you're positive, then you're open and you're open-minded and your brain lets it in, which is true. And I thought it was a great way of explaining it to a kindergartner or first grader. She's in second now, so it was a first grader. But I liked how the teacher was already starting of understanding how important it is to have a positive mindset, how to protect your mind from those negative thoughts and ideas. I know certain things will happen to me through the day, and that's our biggest challenge in real estate is eliminating distractions. And I'm listening, I know I mentioned the vault. I'm listening to these, it's called The Day in the Life of a Superstar. And these are my favorite things to interview. When I go to the Mike Ferry Superstar retreats, my favorite thing is seeing regular people like us, not trying to just, say anybody who's not regular here, but just normal people who do some awesome things and amazing things with their life. And a lot of it is their mindset, but they share their stories. and you hear their struggles and you hear what they went through to get to where they're at. And it's insane to understand how important that mindset factor is. And that's usually where they give Mike Ferry the biggest credit. And they're like, you're not just a real estate coach, you're a life coach, you know, and it's a lot of it's along the right thoughts. But first thing in the morning, this is one of the things that I'll give credit to George. What he shared with me is he gets up super early, first of all, 5 a.m. in the morning. And his body and everything else is telling him, what are you doing? Like, go back to sleep. What are you trying? You know, like, you want more sleep. You don't want to wake up right now. So the first thing he does is he puts an earbud in his ear, or some type of, you know, what do they call AirPods? I'm starting to sound old now, right? AirPods. He puts AirPods in his ear. And he pops it in first thing, because he knows if he doesn't listen to a positive message, that he's not going to do anything, and he's not going to get up and get rolling. So he has his playlist, his Les Brown, whoever, right, and just pops it in, and it gets him pumped up. So right away, he's already putting positive thoughts into his head, very first thing in the morning. And I recommend it, because it's challenging as you're in your nice, warm, cozy bed, especially if it's a little chilly out, and you just want to relax just a few more minutes. Next thing you know, a half an hour passes by. The biggest thing you can do is master your mornings. And that's why we're doing this at 9 a.m. in the morning. We could even start earlier than that, but I think 9 is a safe bet for all of us. It worked pretty well last year when we did it. And what we found out is when we had a routine, or even more than a routine, a ritual that you look forward to in the morning, first thing in the morning, you pop that in. Then, you know, for some people, and what I've started trying to do is 20 sit-ups, 20, 30 push-ups, just something to get kind of the blood flowing. Then hopping in my journal, write in 10 gratitudes, 10 goals. And I'm sharing all this because I was just sharing this with Dusty yesterday. I got to do a coaching session with him just in terms of the business plan. And he was excited. He never had done that really one-on-one with anybody. He's had it in all his years experience in the past, but never really had anybody break it down to him. And a lot of what we talked about was this, what we're talking about right here, is how does your morning look, right? And for a lot of us, we're not morning people. Maybe some of you are, but I know for myself personally, I'm a night owl. I'll stay up late at night and then struggle in the morning. Doesn't mean that I can continue to allow that to happen, because one of the things I like from Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry's son, is he compared your mornings to a slingshot. And he said, the further you pull the slingshot and you let go, the more power and force you're going to go through your day. So if you think of, okay, if I wake up at 7 o'clock, or let's say 8 o'clock, I'm pulling it back just a little bit and I let go. It doesn't go very fast. If I pull it back to 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, right, then I'm really pulling it back and letting go. And then your momentum is just going to take you through the day. So don't stress about your 8-hour day. Don't stress about, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all these activities, do all this? Master your mornings. Master when you wake up. Try your best. You know, if 7 is a struggle or 6:30 is a struggle, try to just push it back just a little bit earlier. And that's what I'll be up front with everybody here. 7 o'clock is my norm now. So now I'm going to try to pull it back to 6:30. Just a little, just that extra half an hour, just to get my mind right to the right place, because now you're going through your morning with so much more momentum, so much more energy. And then if you have a strong morning and you're actually calling and setting appointments in the morning when you're at your sharpest, your clearest, in the afternoon after you have lunch and kind of slow down a little bit, you're setting appointments and you're still doing things. So the rest of your day takes care of itself. So all I want everybody here to focus on is when they wake up, and I'm not saying you got to be like, hey, 5 a.m., pop the earbuds on, listen to a positive message, do your ritual, right? Get into that, but find what works for you and puts you in the most positive state. Be very protective of your mind. Be careful not to just pop open your emails first thing in the morning and start reacting to your day. Be careful not to just start. It's hard not to get on social media, hard not to get on the news. You got to watch all that. That's how you protect your thoughts. Because what's on the news? Positive messages or negativity?
I don't even watch the news, so.
Right.
I don't watch it anymore either because of the negative news, you know?
To be honest, I'm like oblivious of what's going on in the world right now,
Same.
which is good either. But
Well,
I'd rather not listen to negativity because it's
you
all
know,
like,
and that's the argument, and that's the biggest thing that I'll hear to convince myself that I need to watch the news. You need to be aware of what's happening, and I'm not disrespecting that thought or idea. I believe there is validity to that. What I hear from Mike Ferry is he says, why do I need to watch the news? All of you are going to tell me what's going on in the world anyways, right?
that's true.
All of you can't keep it. Oh, did you hear about that? Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Oh, this is going on. What are your thoughts about that? And Mike Ferry's response is like, I didn't know that. Tell me more about it, right? And they start sharing whatever it is. But if he doesn't want to know it, especially if he's protecting his mornings and protecting his mindset, you can block it out.
Yep.
Your emails you can block out. You still have to check your emails. I'm not saying you can completely disregard it. Don't just start, and this is actually something I learned about, like the addiction of the cell phone. And I have it, where you have to look at it before you go to sleep. You have to look at it very first thing when you wake up. You got to look at your phone. Did I miss any calls? Did I miss any texts? Did I miss any emails? Right? And you get into that. You're in control by whoever's reaching out to you. In order to take control of your lifestyle and what it is that you want to do, you need to get straight to writing and thinking about what it is that you want to do. That's why we start with our 10 gratitudes, to start from a place of where we're grateful and appreciative. When you get to that place, as Tony Robbins talks about, you get to peak state. You're in that positive mindset. An athlete, before they get up to hit, right? Just think of a baseball player. They have to go through some type of ritual or routine to get to that nice positive state of mind, of focus, and they're at their peak state. If they go up to bat and they are freaking out and worried about striking out or losing or whatever, they're done. They've already lost before they step foot there. So we as professionals, just like an athlete would have to before they perform, we have to be able to do something. And that's what Tony Robbins will like pound his chest. He does some type of physical action to get himself to that peak state so that he can operate and be in that open mind, that creative energy, that creative imagination, and do some amazing things. So it's really amazing when you kind of dissect it to that, but it's always fun to talk about. And I just appreciate you guys being open to it because you're going to see some amazing things happen in your life the more you pay attention to it. Does that all make sense?
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, I heard that Tom Brady, he has a really set schedule that he follows every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time that he drinks is after the Super Bowl.
Oh,
That's what I heard. And it's
That's
like crazy because it's amazing how he's is this his 8th win or 7th win?
Seventh Super
Okay.
Bowl championship.
Yeah. So, I mean, it works, obviously, staying on that schedule and being strict and right.
Absolutely. And also not drinking until he doesn't celebrate till after the championship. And there's been plenty of videos out there of him having a good time out there, right? At least something was shared with me. Again, I didn't go looking for it. It was shared with me and I was like, good for him. You know,
Yeah.
good, he's letting loose, having fun. But no, perfect example of a champion mindset of somebody. I mean, he's what, 43, 44 now? I think
43.
43 years old. He's definitely one of the oldest quarterbacks in the game. And I mean, it's just phenomenal. He went up against one of the youngest quarterbacks, who's the highest paid quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, you know, so don't want to bore the rest of you if you're not into football, but it's a perfect example. Thank you for sharing that, Amy. So, do you guys want to start with the self-confidence formula? We'll do it just to kind of get things rolling. I know this is the weird chant part of it, the uncomfortable, awkward part of this, but I think it's extremely important. And part of why we do it, there's a couple things. One, you're supposed to stand up, which I typically don't do just to tilt the camera and all that here, but you're supposed to stand up, say it with enthusiasm. Why do we say when we do this stuff, even the statement of desire that I sent to everybody, why is it important to do it with enthusiasm? Does anybody know the answer to that? Yes, Leslie?
Because then you're gonna, if any enthusiasm, any positivity is infectious, including towards yourself. So if you say it with enthusiasm, you're not only gonna believe it, but you're gonna feel good after you finish it.
That's good. Great answer. There's a line on there that says, if you're just reading this with no enthusiasm, no charisma, what happens? Does it work or not work?
Doesn't.
Does not work.
It doesn't work because you don't believe it. The key to this is belief. That's when they talk about faith, just say faith equals belief. Do you believe it? Human nature is to not believe. Skepticism, that's what they're referring to. Human nature is to doubt. Doubt, again, is on that negative side. That's the negative force. Naturally, as human beings, we question things. So it doesn't make you bad for doubting this material or doubting yourself or doubting faith in a higher being, whatever. None of that is bad. All it is that's the negative forces out there that are creating that doubt. And it's good to question, but it's also good to have faith and belief in yourself. For myself, belief in God, and or a higher being. And more than anything, just a faith that when you speak about something, I'll give you guys a quick example. A lot of this is about, okay, I want X amount of dollars. And it seems so far-fetched that, yeah, if I write a certain amount of money and I believe it and I just say it every day, that this is going to become true. The thing that I figured out, and I don't know if it was from this book or when it came to me, but it happened while I was in management. And I would always tell myself I need 6 escrows. And many of you have heard this story before. I had no transactions. I had no prospects. Maybe I had a prospect or 2 or a couple things, but I definitely did not understand how 6 deals were going to come together. For whatever, 6 was always the number that came to mind. The second I said it would, and it wasn't just like, I want 6 escrows. It was like, I'm going to pop 6 escrows. And I convinced myself I'm going to pop 6 escrows. It never failed that it did not have 6 escrows in a pretty short period of time after making that commitment and that statement. I cannot tell you how it works. I don't understand it completely. I'm understanding it more because I'm understanding this book and this philosophy. But what it is I'm putting out there that this is what I'm going to do. This is what's going to happen. And I have no doubt at all. And it all comes together. So I taught this to another agent, and she kind of laughed the first time she heard it. And then she kept saying 7. And then sure enough, she popped 7 transactions and then became one of the most productive. And, you know, a few of you know who she is, one of the most productive agents at Century 21 now, consistently hitting over 200,000 in production after she started understanding this, as well as reading this book and understanding this philosophy. So just trying to emphasize that you got to be careful what you say is going to happen or not, or is going to happen, or this won't happen, or this will happen, because it's true, whatever it is that you're putting out there. Does anybody have any questions about that? Because it's a challenging concept to grasp, but it's as true as the law of gravity from what I've experienced. So does anybody have a question about that?
Brendan, so I love it because Napoleon Hill makes thoughts tangible, right? He's always making sure that the reader understands, look, whatever you think, whatever you write, whatever you say out loud will happen. Mm-hmm. So you better treat it like it's tangible, right? That would be the right word for it.
Right.
You can actually hold on to it.
Right.
So that's good, because then you start believing it. You start believing what you're saying is true.
Well, let's before we chant, you know, and get into the weird part of the self-confidence format. I hope it's okay when I'm mocking it. I'm trying to be funny with it to make light of it so that we can get comfortable with doing it. Let's try to understand it a little bit. So I'm going to pull it up and we'll go through it, because what you just said about what you talked about, Leslie, it's one of the paragraphs on here. And I've seen some typos on here, so hopefully I can even make the changes as we're going through it. But what you're talking about, so first, I know I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. To use the word object and definite purpose of life, it's a very clear purpose and understanding. Therefore, I demand to myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I and now promise to render such action. It's about taking action. Once you know what it is that you want and what it is that you believe in, you're going to continue to take action towards it. You're not so concerned if it's the right action. You're just taking some action. Some of the action is trial and error. And from that trial and error, you learn the lesson of what it takes to succeed. I lose out on getting my offer accepted. Yvette, Leslie, and Amy should know from what I've shared recently that I tweaked the way I'm going to approach the next one, right? I'm going to add a video to it. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to tweak my email. I need to be better in the questions that I ask, right? So every failure or temporary defeat is a lesson, and that's important to understand. Second, I realized the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves. This is big. So what happens in our mind? We play it over and over and over, positive or negative. It plays over and over and over. And if it's negative, you got to watch it. And you got to figure out, okay, how do I flip it? Because those dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves into outward physical action. This is what Leslie's talking about, something tangible, and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Your ideas and your thoughts are going to become real. Therefore, I'll concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. So what most people do is they focus on the past. It is very hard to focus on now and the future. It's very easy to hold on to negative things from the past that affect who we are today. And what we have to start doing is coming up with a clear idea, a clear picture of who's that ideal dad, husband, father, who's that person that I would love to be. I know I'm falling short. I'm human. I'm falling short as a coach. I'm falling short as a friend, falling short in many different areas. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, who do I want to be? And I need to take time every day. You could call this meditating. You can call it reading your Think and Grow Rich book, and just taking a deep breath and think about the message and try to understand it and who is it that you're intending to become, okay? Does this all make sense so far, guys?
It's kind of like when you start thinking, oh, I want to be a positive person, positive, positive, positive. Then you start to think of the plan of how you're going to be positive, right? Or like you're going to make money. You're going to make money, 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 money. And then your mind starts to go on like autopilot or something. Okay, this is what I'm going to do to get it.
That's the plan that comes to you. Again, whether this is a belief, the book says it's coming from infinite intelligence, whatever your understanding of infinite intelligence is. And that idea, that hunch, that feeling, that's why it says it's more important to listen to your gut on what your intuition tells you. And we all know women have better intuition than men have, right? Listen to that inner voice, because that inner voice, something's telling you inside this is right or this is wrong, and you need to listen to it. So that plan that you're talking about that comes to you, you need to listen to it, and you need to take action immediately as soon as that plan comes to you. And if something doesn't feel right, you need to pay attention to it before you move forward in that direction. That's probably the best advice and the best thing that you can get from this understanding. But you're spot on, Amy.
Anthony's having a hard time getting in.
Who is?
Anthony.
Oh, he's trying to get in. All right, let me look.
Yeah,
I'm on share screen, so let me get back out of this.
he said he wasn't sure he was running late, but he didn't get a new link or invite, so he tried an old one, and it says the meeting's in progress.
Okay, I'll just send it to him real quick.
I'm gonna text him that.
See, we just talked about distractions. You bet. I'm just messing with you.
I have this distraction. Look at it. She's so needy this morning.
We were in tune here.
I know. I'm sorry.
We were on that level right now.
I'm fighting.
No. So all right. So great, Amy. That was awesome. That was on point. So thank you for sharing that. And that's exactly right. That's the plan that comes to you. Write the plan out and take action immediately. Don't worry about, oh, does this plan make sense? Is it possible? Just do it. It's not about the logic side of it. It's trust in your intuition. Okay. So that was that number 2 or 3? I think that was the second one, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Clear mental picture. So third, I know through the principle of autosuggestion, that's this chapter, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of obtaining the object back of it. So principle, it's talking about the autosuggestion. What do we tell our subconscious mind? You have 2 parts of the brain. You got your conscious mind that really anything that you experience from your senses, your sight, your hearing, your sound, the smell, that all goes to your conscious mind. Your conscious mind has the ability to reject it or to let it to your subconscious mind. And that's what autosuggestion is reading something like this out loud, and you're programming your subconscious mind. So then without even action or impulse or whatever, it starts already, the wheels start going and ideas start being created. And those are the plans of action. So any desire that I persistently hold in my mind, it could be a desire for money. It could be a desire for some type of lifestyle. It could be a desire for an object, a car, whatever. Whatever it is that you turn into a white hot obsession, and that's key. It's not a wish. It's not like, oh, it'd be nice if I did that. It'd be nice if I was successful in real estate. It would be nice if I could open an escrow. It's not that. It's, I will open an escrow. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna get my first one. I'm going to make X amount of dollars this year. I will be able to provide for my family. Do you hear the difference? It's huge, okay? So I know through the principle of autosuggestion, I believe through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of obtaining the object back of it. That's a hard line to understand. And I remember when I first went through this book and I was doing these sessions, somebody asked me that question. What does that mean? I didn't know. What do you think? Does anybody know what that means? So any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression. How do you seek expression? Through some practical means of obtaining the object back of it.
Well, I mean, it just has to do, like, it's hard to explain. I know it because I you know, I've read other things with this, and I've always been a very firm believer in you get what you like, you attract things, you attract certain opportunities. Like the more I believed I wanted to leave my corporate job and find a different route, the opportunities started to show up because I firmly believed I was ready to leave and move on.
Right.
And even like when we decided to work together, I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know how it was going to work, but I had to choose to have the faith in us to make it work. You know, like I'm my own worst enemy. The more I sit and think about something, the more I can tell you why it's not going to work. And I can think of every reason why, well, this might happen, and then we might have to do this, or what if we have a bad month, and but I had to have faith that no matter what, we would make it work and we would find the way to keep going. And when you do that, things kind of just start randomly showing up, and it is being open and not turning down the ideas. Trying to think of like a perfect example.
No, that was good.
Well, I have like a stupid one that's kind of a good one. When I was 11, I got recruited to join a team to go play soccer in a different country. And
cool.
I wanted it so bad. You had to do a phone interview. You had to like go through all these steps before they let you. And I was so determined to be on the soccer team and go play in another country. And I got it. And I don't know, like, obviously, like, yeah, I did. I spoke well or whatever I needed to do. But I always thought about, okay, this is like what it's going to be like. And I can't wait to play with other people and see these things. I thought about all the stuff in Australia I was going to see, and we did it. And you know what? We ended up winning the whole thing. And I got to play at the Olympic Training Center, and it was bitching. So it wouldn't have happened if I didn't sit there and think like it was a for sure deal.
And you created that desire, became a white hot obsession, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually the plan came to you of what you had to do to execute. But no, that's awesome. So it's tough this is probably the hardest one to understand. But to me, what it means, and great job, Yvette, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression. I think of seeking expression like an artist has an idea of some painting, and it comes to his mind or her mind, and then they seek expression. They express it through their art, or a singer will through their voice and singing, right? For us in real estate, we do it through our words and how we communicate to somebody. So whatever that desire is, you're going to persistently hold it in mind, will eventually seek expression through some practical means of obtaining the object back of it. That makes it a physical reality. That's like the paragraph before it. But that idea will seek and attract an opportunity and then can make it a reality. But you have to recognize that opportunity and you got to jump on it. Otherwise, it was a waste of thought, of effort, of everything, because now when that opportunity came to you, you didn't seize it. You didn't jump on it. And that's why they say you got to take action immediately. So it says, therefore, I'll devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. And that self-confidence is the belief in yourself, in knowing to take action, in knowing, okay, I can do this. And when it comes up in front of me, I'm going to take it. I remember, I know all of us anybody who's done the internet leads, everybody has the exact same feeling right out the gate. I don't feel comfortable with this. I still feel that way. I've been doing real estate for a long time. I've talked to a lot of people. I've paid lots of money for Zillow leads. I paid lots of money for internet leads. I've studied it. And I still will get the hesitation before I hop on, like, oh my gosh, I hope this person just doesn't just hang up on me. Or I hope they don't just think I'm a telemarketer or whatever, right? So I got to get my head out of that state. And I have to start thinking, okay, it is a privilege. I'm not trying to sound cocky right now, but it is a privilege for me to take the time with the knowledge of what I have to ask somebody what's going on in their life and for me to see if I can help them out. It's a privilege for that other person. And that's how you have to look at it. It is a benefit to the other person on the other line for you to call them. The fact that you're a professional seeking to try to help them out and they're thinking about real estate, that's an awesome thing. So flip the mindset and start thinking that I'm going to have a great call. All I need is one great call. Maybe I get 4 or 5 bad ones, but I just need one great one. And it's I won't say life-changing, but it will change your experience of how those phone calls take place. Okay.
Can I add something?
Yes, please do, Leslie.
Like when you mention, when you asked us, right? So why would you say you're the best agent for that client? Well, obviously you'd be the best agent because you would have their best interests, right? So before you get on the call, just know that they could be working with a different agent that doesn't really care about that person, just cares about the paycheck. So before you get on, just think to yourself, hey, I'm saving them from an agent who could potentially not really work in their benefit.
That's beautiful. And that should give you some conviction of why it's important for you to find that next person. It's the hardest thing to do in real estate. It's to find a motivated buyer or seller who wants to sell real estate. And they want a house, and a house comes up, and your job as an agent is to get in between that. And what I mean by that is you're the one that helps make their dreams become a reality. But just like Leslie said, if the wrong person gets a hold of that person first or is referred to that person first, are they going to be taken care of to the same way that you would have took care of them? So that should be your conviction, especially if it's a family member. I know when I started out, I was a little nervous to represent friends and family. Not that I didn't have belief in myself. My whole thing was I didn't want them to think I was a salesman. I didn't want them to think I was only friends with them because I wanted a commission. And I festered on that so much that I lost out on representing friends and family because of my hesitation of being perceived as somebody who was just trying to manipulate a friend or a family member just to make commission and to make money. So how long did it take me before I realized, you know what, I'm actually pretty good at what I do. And if I'm not helping people out and I know where my sincere interest is, what are these other people doing? So great point, Leslie. That was awesome. Nice job. So getting to the next part. Okay. So on the 4th paragraph. So Anthony, welcome, bud. It's good to see you on here. We got it all recorded. What we're jumping into right now, since this chapter is on autosuggestion and basically how it works, like trying to understand it.
Right.
And we were just going to chant this with enthusiasm and make everybody feel awkward. But I was like, you know what, let's break it down. And Leslie actually brought up a good point. So it tied exactly to this. And I wanted to make sure that we're just breaking it down. So we're on the 4th part right here. Okay.
Perfect.
anything you want to share real quick before we jump into this any further?
No, I mean, it all just makes sense. It's, it's all at your subconscious level. There's one thing to have something on your conscious level, because it's like you're thinking about it in the minute, but your subconsciousness, it's like your deepest, most profound beliefs and thoughts. So that's where, like, I get the breakdown of how this is going to work. Because, you were just talking about, like, before you make a call, telling yourself I'm the best agent or whatever. It's kind of like saying it out loud, because that's already supposed to be programmed in your subconsciousness. It's supposed to be like auto program. So
Right.
It's not a question of like being hesitant to pick up the phone, because the way I see it, because I used to do a lot of internet calling. I mean, I did that
Right.
for a great number of years, when I first started in the car business.
Uh-huh.
And it's knowing, like, I knew it for a fact that out of all the salespeople, not to sound like cocky or whatever, but it's just, I knew that if I was the person to speak with that person, more than likely they were going to buy a vehicle. Why? Because it's just, I just knew, like, I'm a professional, like, I know everything about it, like, and if I don't know something, like, I'm the type of person that I'm going to go and find the answer, because I'm that committed to, closing a deal. And with all that, it's always just following a process, because it's like, you're never going to sell a house by just picking up a phone and just being like, oh, hey, I saw you submitted a lead. Like, when do you want to buy the house? It's like, no, there's a process. You need to be like, okay, when can we meet? Let me start with my follow-up questions. Let me build a value in myself so that people want to continue to talk to me. So it's like, I want to be attentive to their needs. So right when I get the lead, I'm going to call them right away and be like, hey, I see that you just submitted a lead. They're going to be like, wow, this person's really responsive, because I look at the numbers knowing that, when somebody's inquiring, that's when they're most interested. And if I'm able to connect with them right off the back, then that's already like speaking volumes for me. So again, I like how everything's lined up and kind of presented and broken up, because in a sense, it's like, yeah, like, this is a proven method for success. So
It's awesome. Thank you for sharing all that, Anthony. That was
Bro.
coming swinging right out the gate, but I love it. All right, so fourth, I've clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I'll never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Again, we're talking about self-confidence. We're talking about writing in your journal, having some type of writing. I've written down a description of my definite chief aim in life. That's your purpose, right? What is your purpose? Have you thought about your purpose? What do you truly believe it is? I shared with Dusty yesterday what I felt my purpose is, and I do when I'm one of the questions Tony Robbins asks is identify different activities that you do that you feel you're getting purpose from, right? So what I mean by that, for myself, if I'm playing catch with my son out back, yesterday I was throwing pop flies for him. He's like, Dad, and I asked him, it's the first time he said he'd rather catch than hit. He always wants to hit. And it was the first time, and I was pumped. I was like, cool, he wants to work on his field, and we need to work on that, right? And he wants to catch pop flies. When I'm out there spending time with him doing that, I know I'm living my purpose. I'm creating a memory and an experience for him that I remember when my dad would throw the ball super high in the air and I'd got under it and I would catch those balls. Those are some of my favorite memories as a kid, right? So now I get to do that to my son, and I hope he gets to reflect on that. I know when I was sitting with Dusty, I know when I have a conversation with Amy and we get deep into certain things, when I know Leslie and I, when we have these, with every single one of us, Yvette, Anthony, when we have these moments, I know I'm living my purpose. This isn't just random, and I don't feel it's a job. I feel that I've been blessed with certain skills and talents and abilities. As Amy, you mentioned, you heard it before, preached before about, hey, you got to be positive. You got to listen to this mindset stuff. And this is the first time that you're actually open to it. I don't believe that is by chance. One, I think you're ready for it. Two, I think that, God has given me certain gifts to be able to help people feel comfortable so that they can be open to this. And because we all want the best life we can possibly live. So, not trying to take credit for any of it. I feel more than anything, I'm that vessel that I believe somebody above is using me to help other people better their lives. And when I do that, I can do it with conviction and belief, just as Anthony said, that get me on the phone with somebody, right? I don't care who it is. I don't care whatever is going on or how tough it is. Sometimes the more challenging they are on the phone, I make it more of a game. Like, okay, let me see if I can break through this. Let me see if I can still get some information. They're trying to shut me down right now, or they just hung up. Do I got the guts to call them right back? Hey, we must have had a bad connection. The call just dropped, and I've done that. And then they hung up a second time, and then I called them a third time. And it's just like, all right, now this is a game until they just block me altogether. But I was doing it actually with Pam. Those of you at the Wood Ranch office know Subert. And I hated door knocking. I had a bad experience when I first started. And she was like, and she would go to these meetings, these Think and Grow Rich. She was open to it. And again, I won't get into too many details, but it was a major improvement for her to go into something with a positive mindset, right? And because she was open to that, when she asked me to door knock, I was like, I can't let her down, so let's go. So we go, and we had a blast. We actually had a lot of fun doing it. And all I remember is there were some of these guys, and it was mostly guys that were just rude and just like, hey, I'm not interested, trying to shut us down. And she saw the more that they were difficult, I just would get into it. And it's like, I would tell her beforehand, I was like, watch, I'm going to get this guy to tell me everything he knows about himself, right? And that's all the game was I'm going to get this person, as much as they want to get rid of me, to open up and start sharing with me why they moved to this neighborhood. And that's all I made it, was a game. Sure enough, more times than not, we were able to crack that egg open. And she would just laugh. And then the next day we go out, and this guy rejects me right out the gate. And I'm just like, all right, have a good day. And I go, and she looks at me, and she's like, what was that? I'm like, I don't know. I guess my head's not in the right spot right now. That dude just punked me. And I'm like, I'm done. So the whole point of this is you have so much more control of what you can do with it. You're going to get bad experiences, bad situations. How do you handle it? And don't let it affect you. And like Anthony said, it's all about your mindset and your belief in yourself, and that you're there to do some good, like Leslie talked about earlier too. Okay. So fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I'll engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. That line to me right there is probably one of the most important lines. Never get involved in a transaction unless everybody benefits from it. And the second that everybody doesn't benefit from it, then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, why are we in this transaction? Is it because I need a paycheck? Or is it because it's truly in the best interest of everybody that's involved? And if you believe it's in the best interest of everybody's involved, you can speak with conviction when your client needs you to, and they're doubting, because that's what human beings do. They doubt. But you can only sell if you believe it. You can't sell something very well if you don't believe it, or you're just not a good person in the sense that you're manipulating a situation, and people will see that, and they'll see through it. Okay. But that's key. Not engaging in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I'll succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. This is critical. We can't do anything by ourselves. The way this all works, if you look at every great successful man or woman, they all understand the importance of serving other people and the cooperation of other people. What do you think this group is? Are we fighting like this throughout our conversations, or are we helping each other out and working together and supporting each other? It's right, Yvette. It's very difficult to have a group of people from different backgrounds, different everything, to truly support each other. And that's what we're producing here. That's what this is. I'll succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use, cooperation of other people. I'll induce others to serve me. So you'll be able to persuade people to serve you because you're willing to serve them. So and I'm just going to bring up some of the things that came up yesterday because I felt like it was just golden information that has been passed to me. One of the top agents from the previous company had shared with me that when she meets with her database and she goes to lunches, right, and she meets with them, her focus is on, how can I help you? If it's a gardener, right, and a gardener is trying to figure out how to promote their business, her whole emphasis of that lunch meeting is, how can I build your business? What can I do to help you? She does that the entire meeting. What do you think's a natural result at the end of that meeting? Do you think that person feels pretty good? Hello? Did I mute everybody or I got the
Oh,
volume down? Okay.
I don't know. I thought I was unmuted, but
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I mean, I think they do feel good.
Yeah, they feel great. Number one, because you're focused on them and serving them, right?
Yeah.
What do you think's the byproduct? What do you think's the last question that other person always asks at the end of the meeting?
What can I do for you?
Exactly, Anthony. While you're focused on helping them and trying to build their business, if you have a CPA, if you have, like I said, a gardener, somebody who washes your car, whatever services you provide, and you meet with those people and you're there trying to help promote their business. I meet with Anthony and he works in car sales. We go to lunch, right? In the past, right? We go to lunch and I'm like, Anthony, how can I help you out? You know, what do you need in your business? What's going on with your business? Tell me about what's happening. And he's there talking and sharing all the great things that are happening. He's talking about some of the challenges he's having. And as he talks about the challenges, hopefully I can offer some good advice. But if not, how can I help you? What could help you overcome those challenges? Well, you know what? I really need to get connected to this person here. All right, well, let me try to reach out to them, see if I can put you two in touch. He's probably going to feel pretty good at the end of that meeting, right? And at the end of it, I don't have to bring up real estate once. At the end, he's going to say, hey, this whole conversation's been about me and helping me out. How can I help you out? That's what this is about right here. I'll succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use in the cooperation of other people. I'll induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. The focus is out and then it comes back, okay? It's just the natural way of things. I'll eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing a love for all humanity because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. Cause others to believe in me because I'll believe in them and in myself. All pretty self-explanatory. I know I beat this one up the most. Just get rid of the negativity. Negativity cannot bring you success. You need to believe in yourself, okay? You need to believe in others. I'll sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I'll become a self-reliant and successful person. All right, well, I butchered that up for everybody for this entire session. Does it help at all that we explained it?
Yeah. I mean, I liked it from the get-go, so yeah.
Cool. Well, do you like it more?
Yes.
Good. All right, well, let's do it. So,
I like it.
Yvette. All right, awesome, Amy. Yvette, you're going to do it off the top of the head now.
So funny.
All right, well, why don't you lead it out? I'll mute the rest of us. You lead it out. Okay, Yvette?
Rude.
Yeah, got you. All right, so you lead it out with enthusiasm. We can all try to stand up. Let's get
I'm in pajamas. I'm not standing up.
All right, you don't have to. The rest of us will.
All right. You all
And I'll mute the rest of us.
Everyone look away. Turn your backs. Do I have to read the whole thing?
Yes, you do.
Oh, dope. Okay. All right. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action.
All right, Yvette, if you're not going to sing it, you got to do it loud, enthusiasm, a little bit more conviction. Okay, let's go.
Ugh. Second, I realize that the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become. Yes, Brandon.
No, good job. I'm gonna run with it now, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, because I want to do it loud and fast so we can just get the routine
I
going.
have to read slow, okay?
It's all good. I got you. All right, Yvette. So I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. Third, I know through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of obtaining the object back of it. Therefore, I'll devote 10 minutes daily to demanding myself the development of self-confidence. Fourth, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life. and I'll never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. 5th, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure, unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I'll engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I'll succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I'll induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I'll eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing a love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I'll cause others to believe in me because I'll believe in them and in myself. I'll sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I'll become a self-reliant and successful person. Hoorah. All right, guys. Thank you, Yvette, for doing that, for trying. You're muted.
I don't read as fast as you.
No, it's all good. Well, I've done it a million times, so I better be able to do it with a little bit. But the key is loud enthusiasm. That's what works. So if you do get a chance to practice, if you have any kind of sickness like myself of wanting to try to memorize this, practice it at night, practice it in the morning, just loud enthusiasm. You're going to see it's already going to put you in a better positive state. So I think it's a great, great philosophy. Yes.
I have something to add.
Please do.
So, so for example, with prayer, right? You know, when you pray to God and everything,
right?
It's the same way. You're not going to pray, oh God, maybe please help me. You know, it's going to be like, I am ready for your blessings. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's a very definite moment. And I feel like this script does that in a way. Right. So I can see the correlation. So
That's
I just
great.
wanted,
no,
you know?
That's actually what Napoleon Hill talks about in it, is that with prayer, most people do not know how to pray correctly. Oh man, I spilled so much while I was trying to get all enthusiastic over here. Knocked over something and it's all over the place. Danielle's gonna be happy. So I'm trying to move stuff from going bad real quick. I apologize. But no, you're spot on with it. And that's actually what why prayer doesn't work for a lot of people, because they're not doing it the proper way. They're actually, whatever you want to call it, but through prayer, they do it as a last resort when they're desperate, when they're scared, and they feel they've exhausted everything else. Now they try to pray. When you do pray, they say to do it effectively is you already have to have the belief that it's going to happen, and you already have to have the belief in the faith that whatever happens is what's supposed to happen, and you just trust it. And that belief system, it's comforting to know that when you can do it that way, that it's highly effective. But it's all about your ability to program that subconscious mind, as Anthony was talking about earlier, you know? So you guys all hit on pretty much everything that was important in this chapter. If you get a chance to do the workbook, I'll just read through a couple of it. I know we're just about to wrap up here. So it's on autosuggestion. And he says that it's only about 10 pages for the chapter, but this is the most important chapter of understanding this concept, because if you can understand this, then you can implement any of the other chapters of this book, which is critical, right? So that's why they call this the crux. But they talk about your dominating thoughts and guarding your thoughts, because it's like a fertile garden. So one of the things to do on here is where it says dominating thoughts. What are your 3 dominating thoughts you carry with you day in and day out? Examples are, life is too hard. I'm not a lucky person. I'm too old, right? So it says to write your 3 things that are your dominating thoughts. And then it says to guard your thoughts. What thoughts and beliefs do your friends, relatives, and acquaintances, your community, and your nation hold that you need to guard against? Examples are, life is limited. There's not enough to go around. Be happy with what you have and don't ask for more. Things are bad and they're going to get worse, right? So, you write those 3 things down of what you have to guard your mind against. Many may become the master of himself and his environment because he has the power to influence his own subconscious mind, and through it gain the cooperation of infinite intelligence. So then it talks about weeding your garden. What are the 3 destructive thoughts in your mental garden that you would like to uproot? Examples are, I've tried, but I've failed before. It's too hard. I don't have enough money. I don't think I'm smart enough. It's too much work. I was born into the wrong family, right? Feeding your garden. What thought seeds would you like to plant in your rich, fertile garden of mind to replace the beliefs you have uprooted? Examples are: I experience prosperity everywhere I go. I open new doors in my life. I deserve the best, and I accept the best now, right? So replacing and uprooting those negative thoughts and putting in the prosperous thoughts into your mind. It's shifting from a desperation mind of poverty. I know for myself, and you know, growing through some limited means, it was very difficult to break things. That's been family history after family history passed down, right? Certain things. And then we had to break that. We had to become an abundance mindset and start believing that anything is possible, right? And I'm grateful my parents were able to instill that in us and teach us that. So look at the following affirmative statements, find one that excites you the most, and then it's just talking about, I'm open to receive all of life's riches. I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. Every day in every way, I open new doors in my life. Day by day in every way, I'm getting better and better. I am prosperous. I say yes to life, and life says yes to me. Everything I touch turns to gold. So these are the positive affirmations, again, that you can repeat to yourself and just say things and program that subconscious mind, okay? So then they talk about visualization. The last thing I want to finish with here, just at 10 o'clock, we're keeping it at the hour, is the statement of desire that I sent, and I sent that email. And I'm not going to lie, I had a hard time sending it to everybody. And the reason why is I know how far out it can sound, but I know what happened to me last year. And what I mean by that is at the point where it didn't seem possible and I wanted to readjust my goals and readjust things, I stayed committed to it and I kept that belief. And one belief I had was the second that they were going to allow us, because remember, COVID shutdown hits. They say we cannot step inside properties and show property. We weren't allowed to show property and go inside a house and show it to them. It all had to be virtual. Well, when that happened, everything stopped for at least 3 weeks. It was almost a month that you weren't allowed to do anything before they made us essential workers again. And what I was sharing with everybody, that what I was speaking to at that time, and I know Leslie, you were one of the people that we stayed in touch. And I said, watch what's going to happen. All this is going to build up. And the second we're allowed to go out there and start showing property again, the floodgates are going to open. And sure enough, every single agent that I know that stayed working that entire time did more business than they've ever done in about a 2-3 month span. That more than made up for that 3 months of nothing happening. But I firmly believed it. And everybody I spoke to that was in our group, I shared that same conviction with them. And I believe they believed it. And most people saw it in their business. And I saw, and people will still call me up from other companies and say, hey, I'm still carrying off that momentum that we created when we were doing Think and Grow Rich. And it's true. So just want to share that. So that statement of desire, type in your numbers that you want in there. Be careful what number you put in there, because it's likely that's what you're going to end up with at the end of the year. And all I can say is the forces and everything else, once you put it in the universe, or the ether is how they say it, something happens and you start attracting those opportunities that come to you. And now a call you weren't expecting happens tomorrow and says, hey, Amy, can you please list our home next week? We're thinking about selling. And we were referred to you, or you're our close friend. We see you're busy in real estate and we want to list our home with you. Or Anthony, not exactly, all I know is I want to buy this rental property or this investment property. It's just too expensive here. I know you're in Bakersfield. Let's go. Let's get it going. It starts happening. You got to believe it, put it out there, and it'll start coming to you. So just read it first thing in the morning. And when you go to sleep, try it. Try it for a month. See if anything happens. Nothing happens and say, hey, you lied to me, Brandon. This was all hogwash. We wasted a whole hour over nothing here. But I know that's not the case. If you believe it and you read it every single night and everything in the morning, if you don't do anything else, just do that, see what happens to your life. But pay attention and then take action as those ideas and those thoughts start coming to you. Sound good, guys? All right. I did more talking than I like to. You guys know I can talk. I don't like to do this much talking. I like to engage everybody more. But I'm hoping it was still helpful today and puts us in the right track for next week. For those of you that don't know, Monday through Thursday, I'm going to be out in San Diego. And you're probably thinking, again, right? Our kids are out for school, so I'm going to take them out there. I'm still going to do the Tuesday meeting, though, while I'm out there. and then also Friday. So we'll keep the Tuesday and Friday still going. So Tuesday at 10 a.m. still going to be the real estate training. We're going to get into the listing presentation. And then on Friday, it's going to be back on chapter 5 here. And that one gets into specialized knowledge, which is another important thing to understand in this, journey of success here. So just thank you all for your commitment here. Have a great, awesome week, and have a wonderful Valentine's Day this weekend. Hope you guys get to celebrate it with somebody that you love, and you guys just have a good time. And, thank you. I guess that's all I got for you.
Great. Thanks, Brandon.
All right, guys. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Have a great weekend, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.